Hi all, and welcome to Prophylactic Thinking Part 2. I'm Aryan Sood, international rated player and student of FIDE instructor Manav Saxena. If you want to understand the idea of prophylactic thinking and our introduction video, you can check out our Part 1. In Part 2, I'll be showing you two positions, one from black in the Sicilian defense and the other from white in Queen's Gambit declined. So for the first position, we have a Sicilian dragon. I won't be getting into opening theory, as that's not our topic. e4, c5, nf3, d6, d4, c captures on d4, knight captures on d4, nf6, nc3, g6, dragon variation, bishop e3, bishop g7, bishop e2, castle, f3, knight c6, queen d2, knight captures on d4, bishop captures on d4, bishop e6, queenside castle. Here one of the main moves for black is queen e5. With this he plans to later maybe move this rook over to c8, prepare an exchange sacrifice on c3, and with this try and capture this a2 pawn with the queen and develop a strong attack with also ideas like bishop check, which leads to very strong mating ideas for black. Here too, one of the main moves for white is, and as we learned in the previous video, in these sort of positions is king b1. With this, white gives the threat that if we decide to play rook ac8 and continue our plan, he will go for this knight d5 move. Here the queen is under attack, and here after we capture queen into queen, he will not immediately capture the queen, but first give knight cross e7 with check. Our king moves to h8 and now capture the queen, and in this way he will be a pawn up. Going back with the queen was not a good option because we waste our tempo and we really stop our strong attack and give him chance for counterplay. So here, pause the video and think, what is the most effective way to continue your attack at the same time and also stop knight d5? Okay, so the correct way to do this is rook fc8. Now this looks kind of weird as we moved the rook to the same place, but instead of the a rook, we moved the f rook. But there is a very specific reason for this. In this move, attack is very clear, and it stops also knight d5. Here, if our opponent decides to go for knight d5, we will simply capture queen into queen, and the same process cannot be repeated of knight captures on e7 with check, as this will be a blunder. Here, by moving the f rook, we freed this f8 square for our king. So after this knight cross e7 check, we can move king f8, which attacks this e7 knight. And at the same time, white must recapture our queen, as he is already down a queen. So after he recaptures the queen, we will simply play king cross e7, and we will be a whole piece up. In this way, by the simple change of the rook we moved, we were able to continue our attack plan, and at the same time, we were able to stop knight d5, and the same idea did not work, as black was a piece up. Now I'll show you the second position from the Queen's Gambit declined. Okay, so we have d4, d5, c4, e6, nc3, nf6, bishop g5, bishop e7, old standard theory. Again, I won't be going into the details as that's not our topic. e3, knight bd7, knight f3, castle, queen c2, c6, bishop d3, d captures on c4, bishop captures on c4, knight d5, bishop captures on e7, queen captures on e7, castle, knight captures on c3, queen captures on c3. Okay, if we look at black's camp, the main problem is it's unclear how to develop c8 bishop. The pawn on b7 blocks its development through fianchetto, and the pawn on e6 develops its normal development to maybe a square like g4 or f5. And to solve this problem, an important move and a good idea for black would be the e5 move. This e5 move would open up this diagonal for the bishop. To achieve this, a logical move and the most common move in this position is rook e8. Here pause the video and think, what is the best way for white to stop e5 move? So the best way for white to stop the e5 move is rook d1. Rook d1 looks like it has nothing to do with e5, but it takes advantage of a very big problem of black, as in this position white is definitely up in development and he takes advantage of just that. With rook d1, if black continues with this plan of e5, we will simply capture, and if he decides to continue capturing with his knight, we will capture his knight. Here he will capture the knight with the queen, we will capture the queen, and here he cannot capture the queen. But if he decides to do so, he has this problem with why our rook d1 idea was so strong of back rank, as the c8 bishop is still undeveloped. We will give rook d8 check, and the king has nowhere to go. The only legal move is rook e8, and we have rook cross e8 checkmate. In this hidden, very strong hidden move, we were able to counter black's e5 move, and this idea continued our normal development also, and at the same time it stopped a very important move of black. If we incorporate this type of thinking in our game will improve immensely. You see, such ideas in chess, such small ideas make all the difference. Thank you all for watching.